Welcome to Ask the Pro. I'm Chris Dufay, and this is where I'm here to give you what's needed to create the online business, the money, and importantly, the freedom that you want. The Ask the Pro show has been upgraded, and it's also got a new home, which is turningproacademy.com. Now, if you go to turningproacademy.com, all the podcast episodes, video episodes, and in-depth articles are there waiting for you right now. Plus, if you go to turningproacademy.com/start here, then you can get access to the free coaching guides. So if you want to know how to double or triple your clients in just a few weeks, or if you want to know how to start and grow your online business, be sure to go to turningproacademy.com/start here to get access to it now. Welcome to Ask the Pro. I'm your host and your coach, Chris Dufay, and this is where I'm going to give you what's needed to create the online business success, the money, but really importantly, the freedom and the life that you want. Now, first up, a big muchas gracias for you being here with me. This episode, I'm bringing on Gabby Wallace, that I've had the pleasure of knowing for a little while now, but love chatting to her every single time. She's got so much to give you in this episode. Gabby and I are diving into YouTube and how this can be an absolute game changer for your business and how to make that so. We are delving into how she has gone from 0 to over 100,000 subscribers in YouTube, how to monetize YouTube and how to turn this into a real business, what she wishes known all these years ago, and what the real secret sauce is for what you need to be doing. What are the 20% of the effort that you're going to put in that's going to give you the 80% of the result, the real important stuff that you need to be doing. Now, this episode is brought to you by My Body Blends, and my favorite, the superfood elixir that I've got with me right now. So if you want the fuss-free, proven programs, the guides, and the highly specialized nutrition products to transform your body and especially your health, be sure to head on over to mybodyblends.com and tune into the My Body Blends podcast, as there is a new episode coming for you every single Monday. Now, if you are loving this, I would want you to never miss an episode. So be sure to subscribe to the Ask the Pro show. Really importantly, as there is so much to come, and you'll see I'm going to be getting Gabby back on after this. We're going to be delving into more online business strategies as well. So I never want you to miss a beat. But just to make sure for you to really get the most out of you being here with me right now, click on over to chrisdufay.com. Right there is waiting for you the free guides, the trainings that are coming straight out of the Pro Circle on the topics and the workshops of how to grow your following, how to double to triple your clients, and how to start and grow your online coaching business. So right now, head on over to chrisdufay.com/start here to get it all free and get the specialized workshop that's exactly what you need. So don't be a peanut and miss out on that. So now it's time to bring on Gabby. I'm really pumped up for this one. It's super early in the morning for me, and you will find out in just a second. I am so goddamn jealous of her right now. Gabby, you absolute beautiful human being. It's so good to get you onto the podcast again. And I'm pumped up to dive into this, because I know what we're about to go into, the listeners are going to really want, and I'm going to say really need, because this is something I get asked and work on all the time, and you are the absolute professional, hence why you are here. So Gabby, thank you so much for taking the time out.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Chris. This is awesome to connect with you and your audience, talking about YouTube and just improving your online presence with that.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
So this is really going to be turning the listener into a YouTube pro and understanding how to make it work. Like I find so many people are dabbling. They're dipping their toe into kind of YouTube. They know that there's some real power behind it. They've been told that obviously people are killing it, such as yourself. And there's obviously some real opportunity, but they're just not getting the traction. They're not getting it done. They're not getting the views. They're not getting the subscribers. They're not getting the leads, the customers from it. It just ain't working for them. So we really want to dispel a lot of myths in this interview. I really want to be able to just give some really good quality, actionable items as well. But even before we dive into that, Gabby, I really want to share how fantastic you are because I know that, and I just want to make sure all the listeners know that as well. So, Gabby, who are you and why are you so phenomenal?
Who am I? Well, Gabby Wallace. I started out as a language teacher, English teacher in the classroom, English as a second language. And years ago, I had a really weird schedule, a lot of downtime between classes, and I was getting bored, and I thought, what can I do with this time that would be productive and helpful to my students? So I thought, I'm going to make some video tutorials just for fun. Like, I like video. I can record something quick and fast and just use my phone. And so I did. And then I was like, okay, let me email these videos to my students. And I realized, okay, video doesn't send very well over email. It's too big, right? So it's like, oh, there's that site, YouTube. I'll just upload it on YouTube and share with my students. And that's how this all started. I shared with my students. And then I realized, like, a month later, there were hundreds of views on my videos. And hundreds of views is not a big deal. It's like, it could have been my mom clicking 100 times. I don't even know. But it's like things started to grow little by little. I started getting momentum, sharing students and sharing on social media. I didn't have a huge following at that time. I was just like a regular teacher. And over time, and when I say time, I mean like years, not like overnight, but over time, I grew my following largely based on YouTube. And now I have over 200,000 subscribers, really fast forwarding to today, 200,000 subscribers, over 10 million views. And I have a business based on YouTube that I'm living. I have a team of 5 people, and I want to share how that's possible for other people to go from like a teacher or coach. I think there's a lot in common with your audience of fitness professionals and people who teach. I mean, it's basically conveying information and knowledge. It's very similar. And I think YouTube is a great platform for that. I've experienced how powerful it can be. So in a nutshell, that's my story. And I want to dive into any part of it that you find interesting.
I love this. No, totally. I think this is absolutely phenomenal. Like, your story is just like, you're crushing it right now. You're doing so well. And I think you've got so much great experience and expertise now. So we really need to kind of flesh this out. I really see this as my job as being the kind of detective of making sure we kind of really pull all of these points out. But one point I really would like to start with, Gabby, and we were talking about this just before we hit record, and I think this is so important, is because so many people think like, oh, okay, I'm going to start shooting some video. Let's say, for example, the example we can use is a personal trainer, and they want to start talking about a weight loss diet, and they want to start helping people be able to eat better, to be able to lose weight. And they kind of jump on, they start shooting a video, and it's just pure technical terms, pure, this is the solution. Steps 1, 2, 3, boom, end of the video. That's absolutely done. And how there's a real need, and you said the word edutaining. So it needs to be really having an education side of it, and it needs to be an entertaining side of it as well. I'd love for you to dive deeper into that.
Yeah. People search for what they want to learn. Maybe they search for how to lose weight or how to do the perfect push-up or whatever the search is. They come for the information, and it's important to give helpful information, but they're going to stay for the inspiration, the entertainment, the connection that they feel with you as a person, as your story unfolds throughout your channel, throughout your online presence. So you have to make sure to share your story with people, share your background, share your challenges, your successes, share examples from your own life, or maybe from clients' stories, protecting privacy, of course, but like share examples that can really liven up your tutorials. People might not going to remember you. They're just going to say, okay, well, that was helpful, cool. But if you can kind of hook them on like that connection with you or the inspiration you make them feel, they're going to keep coming back, and they're going to spread your story. They're going to share your videos. So that's kind of the secret sauce in a nutshell for making your channel successful, is adding your story to it and being entertaining. So being entertaining, like, you have to bring some energy into your videos. Like if you need to have a cup of coffee before you hit record, do that. I mean, whatever, do some jumping jacks, do something to get your energy up, because another big mistake I see is people get kind of stiff behind the camera. I mean, you don't, but some people will like feel shy or they don't bring the energy, but like it's so important to really turn up your energy to level 10.
No, so true. I think that's like you just hit on two really good points there, and that energy and being able to deliver some real passion behind the video. Like, do you know what I mean? You've really got to and I think the way I kind of see this, you've actually got to kind of go a little bit more over the top than what you think you have to if it was a face-to-face conversation, because there isn't that face-to-face exactly, and you need to really push that through into that video as well. And I also think what was really important was you being able to have a real and authentic manner about what you're doing. Like really, when you say like bringing the you, I really think making sure that you're there, showing your story and showing that authentic you and just being real about it. Like no one's perfect. Like I even like to include sometimes when I stuff up and like, I'm not going to make perfect, complete videos because it's a bit of a laugh. Like you've got to have a bit of a poke at fun of yourself at the same time.
Oh yeah. And sometimes when mistakes happen, or like when your pet jumps into the video frame, that's not a bad thing. People love seeing your real life and the real you. So I completely agree. You want to bring that. Don't be shy about it. If you're used to teaching or coaching one-on-one, or even in a group situation, you're totally right. The energy is different. I was coaching a woman on how to deliver for video, and she was so surprised. She's like, this is totally different. Smiling the whole time, and I'm talking, louder and with more energy and feeling than I would in person. Like if I was like this in person, I would think I was a little crazy or a little too much, but you have to do that to convey the energy on video because it's not live. It's not in person.
Now, one point you brought up before that I think is probably one of the most important things, because I feel like this is where people just fall off, is the consistency portion. And so I'll just kind of give some context of this for the actual listener, and especially we can mold this into the way of how you work this. But when I think about content marketing, and essentially that's what we're using YouTube for, is a content production and a content distribution side. So we need to think about what are we doing to actually produce the content, and then what are we doing to actually get the eyeballs and the people and to get our message in front of the right people with that distribution side. And with that content production side, consistency is just so important, because I feel like people kind of like dabble, just like what I said at the start. They kind of dip their toe in it, but they don't really go all in. And that's one of the biggest failures. How do you help someone get clarity on what is the consistency that they need and how to stick to it?
Yeah. So I think in the beginning, it's okay to dabble as you figure out what you want to really focus in on and what people respond to. I mean, you might end up changing a lot over time, evolving your message or changing with the feedback you get. But you're probably gonna get a lot farther, a lot faster if you do produce a lot of content and you still listen to your audience. So before you even hit record, start mapping out some ideas. Like, what are the topics or the themes that you want to talk about? And before you make like 500 videos, like make a few and then put them out there and see what people like. Crickets, no comments, no feedback, nothing. Keep making stuff until you do hear some feedback, and not only making, but distributing. I think we're going to talk about that too, but you have to get the word out. I mean, just posting a video on YouTube isn't enough anymore, because there's like millions of creators on YouTube. So how do you get views? Well, you have to do some of that lifting yourself, at least in the beginning, until you have, millions of subscribers. So how to start with the content? Think of, maybe make a mind map where you think of topics you want to talk about, maybe weight loss. Okay, well, do you have something interesting to say about that? Do you have interesting experiences, or do you have some specific lessons you want to share with people, or methods that you want to share? And really important here, I can't emphasize enough, don't try to make like one monster video where you share all of your ideas in it, like bite-sized pieces of information. People on YouTube have a grazing mentality. They want something, they could learn something quickly, I like to call it, after 3 minutes or so, did they learn something that they can feel good about, that maybe they could get excited about doing? That's the kind of thing that you want to give in a single video. And oftentimes people who are experts want to share so much in just one video and give a lot of value. Great, but wrap it up into a bunch of shorter videos, digestible.
Awesome. No, I think that's so good. And like, how do you go about helping people make sure that the video leads onto the next step that obviously you want someone to take?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the next step that you want people to take, of course, it depends on your goals and the moments, but you always have next step. I mean, whether it's growing your channel, you could ask people to subscribe, or whether you have some service or product on your website, you could ask people to come visit your website. In the beginning, I didn't have anyone to tell me that I should be telling my audience to do these things. I just thought, well, of course, don't they know that I have a website? Don't they know I want them to subscribe? That's obvious, right? Logical. But people don't think of doing that next thing. Most people who are just grazing on YouTube, they're just thinking about what's the next entertaining thing that they could watch, and not necessarily, I should subscribe to this channel, or I should visit the website, or they don't even know that you have a website. They might not realize. And I know sometimes we're so close with our own work. We just think, of course, everybody knows I have a website and everybody knows all of my great offerings on my website. They don't, right? You have
so
to
true.
let people know what's the next thing they can do. Yeah, like what if they really want to get to know you and your services and how they can benefit from you as a professional and your offerings? I mean, why not tell them what's the next step? And you have to think, what is that for your current goals? Like I said, it could be asking people to comment or subscribe or like your videos, or it could be come join my Facebook group, or it might be my website because I have some great blog posts, or maybe you have like a reason that they could join your email list. There's so many different things that you could tell your viewers to do. Don't tell them to do everything, because that would be way too confusing, but maybe one thing per. But here's the secret that I kind of figured out over the years. I just want to share with you and your audience, because like I wish I had someone to tell me this. What's worked for me is to pick one call to action and say it twice. Once in the beginning and once at the end of my video. And that's worked really well to remind people what that next step is.
I think it's really good. I like something that I use, and you can say if this is absolutely horrendous or not, but something that I use is especially talking about what might be coming up in another episode as well. Like say if I'm talking about a specific topic and there might be a very related topic, and I might say, look, in this episode, I'm not going to go into that, but that's going to be coming up really soon. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. And then you keep going. So there's obviously like this short, quick call to action. It's like, it's not being a douchebag about it. Like you're not jumping up and down and being like subscribe. Like it's not like that. It's just like, look, if you want this, then this is the best thing for you to do.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's an amazing thing to do, is to be able to tell people what's coming up in future episodes. That means if you can do that, that means you're super organized, because you've thought about what you're going to say. So, sometimes I don't know what my next episode might be. So I would just, I would say like, come back for the next episode, and I'll leave it open like that. But I think that just reminding people that there's going to be a next episode, like, that's really, really good. And that they're going to be consistent. You're coming back, and they should come back too, because your channel is awesome. There's going to be way more content. And, another thing you can do if you forget to say this, you can always link from one video to the next one. You could go back and, add in the description or in the video, you could link to the next one. Just kind of, it's nice to be able to go back and do that too.
With the consistency side of the videos, do you recommend like publishing and shooting on certain days? Or like say for example with the podcast, like this podcast goes live every single Tuesday. My other fitness podcast, the My Body Blend podcast, like that goes live every single Monday. And so like with the videos, I will admit I don't have a set published date with the videos. It's not like the videos are coming out on these exact days each week. Do you recommend doing something like that? We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in a split with so much more for you. Now, I know you're listening and tuning in because you know how important your health is and how this can also catapult your business. This is why I'm very happy to say that this podcast is sponsored by My Body Blends and my favorite, the Superfood Elixir, the powerful greens drink. Now, this is designed specially to boost energy, aids detoxification, enhances the ability to burn fat, supports healthy carbohydrate metabolism, and best of all, is voted best tasting greens drink. Now, myself and the My Body Blends team are looking for ambassadors to join. So you and your clients get the health benefits plus adding in a strong income stream for you and your business. The ambassador program, which is by application only, means you get exclusive access to sell My Body Blends products like Superfood Elixir to your clients, plus giving you the special ambassador pricing and bonuses. So once you become an ambassador, you can join the other top health and fitness players that are adding thousands to their week's income. Now, there is only a limited number of ambassadors we are taking on board, as this is a tribe leading the way together. So to apply and to join, go to mybodyblends.com/ambassador or add the checkout code that is Turning Pro, all one word, when you're going to get your own Superfood Elixir to order. Plus, you're going to get free shipping and a bonus to save yourself over $250 instantly. So just use that coupon code Turning Pro in the checkout and you can save over $250 right now, all on mybodyblends.com.
What I've learned is that it can change over time. I mean, I used to say, and I used to publish videos on my English learning channel, Go Natural English. I used to publish Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That was a full year that I published 3 times a week, every week. It was a real growth year, and some big things happened during that year. But things change. And, looking back, knowing now what I know, I would say, don't commit to a certain day, because there's people watching those videos now. They're probably thinking, well, where's the Monday video? There's no Monday video this week, because now every Friday and occasionally I'll do a bonus video so that there's 2 videos a week, but I'm consistently doing 1 video a week this year because I'm really maintaining, the channel's still growing a lot, but I don't need to be publishing 3 times a week. I'm focusing energy elsewhere right now. So I would say maybe not do like a specific, you don't need to say, every Tuesday I'm going to be here, because you could want to change that later, right? So maybe say I'm here every week, something a little bit more general.
And then obviously just making sure that you kind of like stick to that actual content and publishing plan that you're saying. Like, so for the moment for yourself, it's like 1 video a week is just going to be coming out, and you just make sure that you're hammering to that.
Right.
Can you hear that gecko in the background? That's a gecko. This is hilarious.
I was going to ask.
I'm not going to get this edited out. These damn little geckos are everywhere. They're actually really good things to have in your house, but there's one in my office. Okay, so I think the really good way for us to go now is we've shot the video. Now it's time to publish it. How do we get more eyeballs onto it? How do we really start getting the traction? How do we start getting millions upon millions of views?
Yeah. Well, so content is important. We talked about content, but now the distribution is super important. I know so many talented people, like really expert, and they make great content, but then they come to me frustrated, like, my video, it's been out for a month and it only has 10 views, and what am I doing wrong? So there's a lot of things that they could probably improve on. I mean, one thing is just making sure that you have the right words to describe your video and the title. So taking some time to really get in the heads of your viewers, your target audience, right? What are they searching for? What are they going to be curious about? What's going to grab their attention? And really using those keywords that they're searching for, that's going to help you in the long run. You really have to do some of that heavy lifting. I was telling you about a woman in my Facebook group asking about sharing her videos in other Facebook groups. She's sharing her stuff, And I guess it's taking her a lot of time. So she was saying, gosh, this is taking me a lot of time every day to be sharing the videos and being active in other groups. Do I really need to do this, or is there an easier way? And I thought about it, and like, no, I mean, that's what I went through as well to gain that initial traction. Now, I don't do that now because I have momentum going on my channel. But in the beginning, I think you have to do that heavy lifting, and you need that human touch. I don't know of an app. I mean, certainly there's software that will post automatically on social media for you, but no app can go in and comment on other people's, say like, oh, I saw your question in this group. I'd like to show you a video I made. I think it would be helpful. I mean, there's no app that has that human touch. And I think that's really going to be helpful for the first several months, the first year. I mean, as long as it takes to really get some traction on your channel. And, if you have an assistant who could help you with that stuff, that's awesome. But, somebody has to do it. I think you have to put in the work. Sometimes there's not like a quick and easy app that you can just click and like have instant results.
That's a really good thing that you bring up. So if there was going to be, say, like 3 or 4 kind of action items for the listener to walk away with, that they could do, or even if they can get their assistant to do, like what would those be? Like where would you really want them to put their efforts into getting their content out there?
So I would put like a third of your time into optimize your videos after you upload them, like making sure titles have some keywords, making sure you have descriptions written for the videos, making sure you have thumbnail images on each video to make them attractive. And then I would take about a third of you to broadcast. Put your videos out, Twitter and your Facebook, and if you do Instagram, you could make sure you have your YouTube channel in your bio for people to click on. Maybe do however you're going to talk about, just get it out there, and not just on your social media, but like go into other groups, and without being without being really pushy or annoying. Everybody hates it when people are just posting their stuff like, hey, look at me. Maybe approaching it. Okay, I saw a guy do this in a group. He's like, oh, I have so many people question about blah blah. So I just wanted to make a video to address that question because it's something that I know something about. And here's the video, and I just wanted to share. And I hope that's okay. So it's not like, hey, look at me, but it's more like, I really want to help. So as long as you're approaching things with the mentality of, I'm helping, I'm trying to give you something. I'm not trying to just be salesy or be pushy or whatever. So a third of your time to distributing and just doing that heavy lifting where you're emailing maybe your past clients, students, or your current students, or your colleagues, even like, hey, check out what I'm doing. I'd love to have your feedback. Asking for feedback is actually a good way to start getting some traction. And it's look at me. It's more like, I really value your expert opinion. And I think that's a really nice way to get people aware of what you're doing. And then the last third, once you start having some and maybe some comments and maybe growing your overall online presence, just ask people for what they want. What are they struggling with? And keep that conversation going where you ask them what they need from you, what they want from you, and then give it to them. It's not that difficult. You just have to show up and do it,
No, I think that's absolutely it's so necessary for people to understand that is obviously, especially as you start growing a tribe, start growing a community, you can reach out to them and you start giving them exactly what you want. And that's when you can start having ideas of what products to create, what services to start going into, what to start giving them with the content. No, that's absolutely brilliant. I'm so happy you said that. It's so important.
I can imagine people now and in their heads wanting to know, okay, well, if I'm giving them everything they want on my YouTube channel, then what are they going to pay for? But I've never held a YouTube channel. I've never held back on being helpful, but I do appreciate, and this is a whole nother topic. This could be a whole nother call, but just figuring out what people want and making sure that your time is really valuable. Differentiating somewhat between what people find on your YouTube channel versus in your services or products. I feel like we could talk about that for a whole another hour, but I think that the more you give, the more you're helpful with your online presence, people will be really attracted to that and they'll want more because you're proving your expertise and you're proving that you care.
No, I love that. Okay. Now, one thing that I get asked a lot of the time, so I really want to pose this to, is they want to know an expectation of when it's all going to start to click for them. So they're posting their videos, they're getting it out there, and then they're saying like,
Yeah.
when's it going to happen? What's your response to this query?
So it's always an evolution. I mean, hit 10,000 subscribers. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I never thought I would have 10,000 subscribers. And for me, that was a big point that I crossed. That took 3 years to get to 10,000 subscribers. And then over the next year, I got to 100,000, and then the next year, 200,000. And
so there's a real snowball effect to it, would you think?
Yes, totally. So it took me 3 years to get to 10,000, and I didn't have any mentor. I got a mentor after 10,000, and that's what helped me to really ramp things up and be smart about my strategy and smart about how I was spending my time. So that was a big reason why things grew that year. So it depends, it depends on, are you getting expert help? Are you putting the time in? Are you doing some of the heavy lifting in the beginning? I honestly don't think there's anything that can replace that time and effort in the beginning, but it doesn't have to take you 3 years. I think that if you have the right information, the right strategy, you can cut that time down a lot. Now, I wouldn't get impatient. Like, I would say put content out at least once a week for a minimum of 6 months. And not only put content on YouTube, but distribute by email, by social media, tell your friends, go into Facebook groups, and in a nice, helpful way, you can share your content, but do everything you can to distribute. And you should see traction by 6 months. I mean, you should be seeing at least like 100 views on a video. I mean, I think that's reasonable. If you're not, then I wouldn't look at that as a failure. I would look at that as, okay, it's time to reevaluate my strategy and what content I'm putting out there. And ask yourself, is there something maybe you could tweak about the way that your videos? There's probably something that you could just slightly change and get a lot more momentum.
I think it's like, that's a really good point. And you've got to be able to look at what you're producing and go back into the analytics, like go back into the videos you've produced and go, you know what has got the best engagement? What's got the most views? Where are people dropping off in my videos? Like there's so many things you can start to look at to then know what to do better. I think, and I found this before, was some people have come to me and they've been like, okay, I've been doing this for so long now. And I'm like, you've been doing the same thing. And I kind of feel like, yes, it's been great that you've been producing content, but also at the same time, like if you're running west looking for a sunrise, you're not going to get it. Like it's just not going to happen. So you need to look at, right, let's have some hard truths of what is working, what's not working, what changes do you need to make, because then you can obviously flourish.
Right.
I love that.
No, totally. It might feel like a long time, but I mean, hammer away at it for 3 months, 4 months. Like, get that feedback from people and just see it as an evolution. There is no finish line. I know you might have certain goals. It's good to have goals, but like, look at it. This is life. Like this is what you're going to be creating. This is what you're going to be evolving with. This is what you're going to be like having a conversation with for a while. It's not like, okay, I'm going to construct this house and then it's done and I never have to do repairs on it. Like you're going to have to do repairs on your house. You're going to have to like decorate it and change things. And, it's an evolution.
No, I think it's so good. I think it's just, we've covered some really important things. I think we've kind of like brought out some like nice truths for the listener to understand. Now, before I let you go, what I think, Gabby, is when we were talking last time, we gave each other a bit of a challenge, a bit of a content challenge that we did, and it was awesome. Now, for the listener, what challenge would you throw out to the listener right now? If someone's going, right, you know what, Gabby, Chris, this has been phenomenal. I'm ready to dive into this. I'm ready to get rocking and rolling. What is like the challenge you would throw to them to say, right, if you're serious about this, this is what you're going to do now?
Record one video. Even before you record the video, think about one bite-sized topic that you want to talk about. Think about, do you have a little story you could share around that topic? Could you record something with a story and something that you're teaching people in 5 minutes, and take whatever you have. If you have a smartphone, if you have a camera, whatever, something that records, put it in front of your face, record yourself talking for a few minutes, long enough to tell your story and your point, and then just upload it. And it's going to be awful. It's going to be embarrassing. That's a great thing. That's how we're going to evolve. That's how we're going to learn. Put it out there and post it on your Facebook and email it to your friends or your family or, people that could give you, and take that feedback, be open to feedback, and then make the next one even better. But I would say as an assignment, just do one video and be okay with that feeling of being exposed and feeling like it's not perfect and feeling embarrassed, because that's how you're going to learn.
So awesome. Okay, this is fantastic. Now, where do the people go right now? Because obviously you've got so much more to be able to give. We can't fit in half an hour what the absolute ocean of wisdom you've got to give on just this specific topic alone. Where do they go now to find out more about what you're doing, Gabby?
Well, I have a website, Gabby Wallace. So it's GabbyWallace.com. And you can read the blog. You can find out about my YouTube courses. I have digital courses to help people to implement their YouTube marketing. And I would just love to see people over there. And I have a Facebook group, but you can find out about that once you visit the website. So just come over to GabbyWallace.com.
Phenomenal. Okay, that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to put all the links in the show notes so everyone can get on over into that. Gabby, thank you so much. It is awesome being able to talk to you whenever we do. We have to do it more often.
Yeah, no, thank you. You can't see me. I have a huge grin on my face right now. I love talking to you. I love geeking out about YouTube. And I just hope that this is inspiring to some people to take action and get out there, use YouTube. It's a lot of fun. So get out there. Thanks so much for having me on your show, Chris. I appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure, Gabby. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And if you've liked this episode, please share it out and make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss out. Now, to really get the most out of you being here, go to turningproacademy.com/start here. There you can get access to the free coaching guide. So if you want to know how to double or triple your clients in just a few weeks, or if you want to start and grow your online business, be sure to head on over to turningproacademy.com/start here to get free access to it now. And as always, I'm so thankful for you being here, and I'm really looking forward to you joining next week in the new episode.